Welcome to the City Manager's Report. I'm Jill Fraley along with Pikeville City Manager Donovan Blackburn. Much to discuss and get to today, a little bit since we've seen each other, so hello, how are you?
Jill, I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Very good, very good. Been very busy, as I know you have as well.
I have. It's been, again, there's a tremendous amount of stuff going on in and around us and a lot of projects going on, a lot of planning, and so times are good.
Lots of information to let people know about today.
There is, and you know, I found it more and more interesting each and every week I step on the street with the amount of people that are really impressed with the show and appreciative, not just on this show, but Pike TV in general, being able to get both city and county news out, to hear from our fiscal court, along with hearing from the city commissioners, and then this show. People are all the time asking me to divulge information.
I think it's a really good resource for people who really want to see what's going on, and I think it's also wonderful for the new people, the visitors that we have coming to our county and to our city that are wanting to see what the great things that we have to offer.
Well, I agree with that. I think it's important to get the word out, not just for, and that is a great comment, because one of the comments that I received lately, or recently, excuse me, was by somebody that was getting ready to move to the area, and they said, you know, I didn't know y'all had a local television channel. I turned it on, and I can't believe the amount of stuff that's going on in and around the city of Pikeville and in Pike County. So it's a great resource, and you know, we're very blessed to have such great talent and people like yourself on here taking care of business. So
well,
it's a good thing.
Our buddy Al, he keeps us all in
straight.
line, Mr. Greenfield. Well, listen, we have a lot to get to today. We're going to pick up on something that we left off the last time that we talked at great length about, and that is the Hatfield-McCoy phenomenon that has resurfaced now because of the miniseries that was a few weeks ago, and it is still like wonderful. I mean, the amount of people that are coming into our area that are visiting for the first time and taking advantage of everything that we have to offer.
Jill, it's absolutely amazing, and I think you best described it. It is a phenomenon right now. Obviously, the show and what it's put out there throughout the nation, there's been a tremendous amount of interest, not just in the history, but of the region. And we are seeing still daily traffic coming in and out of the area. One of the stories that I just heard yesterday, I was talking to tourism yesterday, and that over at the hotel this past weekend, there was a young family lurking out on Main Street trying to find where the tourism office is, and they found it. But along the short of it is that it was a group from up north, northern Michigan, I believe is where they were from. But it was a mother, and I think she had three kids. It was either 2 or 3 kids. But they had seen the show and was really so interested in it, they had actually had reservations to go to Florida. And they decided to change their plans to come to Pikeville, Kentucky, because they wanted to tour all the tour sites. And they were going to be here for 3 or 4 days, and they wanted a list of all the activities they could do above and beyond the area, but was really impressed with the community. So, and this is, you know, if you drive over to the fire department, Pikeville Fire Department, you'll see, again, vehicles every single day over there from different states. And I mean, I'm just absolutely delighted. But it goes above that, and I thought what I would do today is give kind of a little update of what has transpired since our last show.
Please do.
Well, you know, the first thing I'll say is that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about philosophy, I guess, versus just what's going on, to kind of segue into this. You know, Jill, our region, there's a lot of, we talked about last show, a lot of pressure being put upon the coal industry, and you know, the need to diversify our economy. I mean, obviously coal is still king, and it's a big part of our industry, and we're going to continue fighting for it. But the other thing we need to do is we also need to look at other venues to offer other job opportunities, other ways that we can pursue different ventures to protect our economy. Tourism is a big part of that, and we, not only because of this, we've had, you know, there's been some history in the past where maybe philosophies wasn't the same, but like always, we work through those things. And I'm talking with city and county tourism. But we work through those. We've had, even during that time, we had a great relationship with the county tourism. These are good friends of mine, I kept saying. But when we have worked for the past several months or year or so on various projects together, The Hatfield and McCoy piece, though, is that the county tourism has a component, the city tourism has a component, and what this has done is it's brought us together closer than ever before in working for the better good of our community. Too often you've got, and I don't say this with any malice intent or rude, but too often you've got politicians out there that are, in a sense, self-serving, and they're looking after their own interests. They're not looking at we, they're looking at me, and you've heard me use that terminology before. But if it was less about people taking credit for a project or a program, and more about offering to the community what we can do and what resources that we have together, because there's an old adage, if you don't care who's getting the credit, then you will definitely accomplish more in life. So it's not about the credit, it's about looking at our resources, looking at what we have to offer, and working for the better good of who we're elected to or appointed to represent. And I realize, I report to the City Commission. The Pikeville City Commission has got great vision, great value. And I won't go into all that again. I mean, these guys they care about their community, and they do it to serve their community. They obviously don't do it for the measly $1,800 a year that they get to take home. They do it because they have a passion and a love for their community, and they've done a great job. These committees out there and boards out there, i.e. tourism, that's another great example. These are folks that serve for no money. They attend 1 or 2 meetings a month. They come with ideals and interests. You serve on a committee or board. I serve on several also. But it's these folks coming together for the greater good of our community, and we need to applaud those folks.
Absolutely.
What we don't need to get bogged down in, and that's sometimes how it's portrayed, is bogged down in worried about who wants to take credit for who did what. It needs to be more about what we can do to work together, what we can offer one another, how we can open the lines of communication, and take all those resources and utilize them. And this is a perfect example, the Hatfield and McCoy piece. Not only, again, I want to reiterate that we have been working very well with Pike County Tourism, because Pikeville is in Pike County, obviously, and we're the county seat. I've got family, friends in the county. I mean, we're sometimes too often people portray as them versus us, and that's nothing further from the truth, and it really disturbs me when you've got people out there in the public's eye that makes those kind of comments, because again, it's the need to work together, and again, I go back to tourism. This is a perfect example of that, and in the vision of this commission, city tourism and county tourism, we have put together a couple of things and utilizing resources that I think that's going to blow or hit a home run, blow this Hatfield and McCoy thing out of the water. Since that time, what we're working with county tourism and coming together and making some offers is looking at, we have a county tourism office and a city tourism office, and combining those offices and letting the county tourism office be the marketing piece, the face of the community. Again, you're taking resources that you're doubling and you're combining them into one. And then the savings that we get from spending those resources, what we're looking at doing is this coming Monday, we're looking at purchasing a small tour bus, kind of like the little small Sandy Valley buses you see around, probably a 15, 16 passenger bus. We're working with a couple of groups right now to probably get a used bus, so we don't have to put a lot of money into it because it'll be driven locally. But creating a tour bus, that bus will be used for both these Hatfield and McCoy and history tours. It'll also be used on the river trail system instead of, I don't know if you've seen that crazy looking bus we've got up at Bob Amos.
I have.
But again, what we're looking at doing away with that bus, putting a trailer on the back of the other bus we'll buy, and the trailer will be connected and disconnected to where people that want to ride the river trails will have pickup times, probably again from 12, 2, and 4 down behind Texas Roadhouse on the river. We'll load you up, put you in that nice comfortable bus, show you a video on the way to your trailhead, and then drop you off. Before it or after it, both on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then the intent is to host these historical and Hatfield and McCoy trails, because there is a tremendous amount of sites in the city of Pikeville and in Pike County of interest. I think this phenomenon will continue based upon other shows and other things that are coming along. But I go back to the work of Tony Tackett and the board has done a phenomenal job at the setup at County Tourism in the Hampton Inn. If you haven't been in there, please do so.
It's a beautiful office.
It's a gorgeous office, very personable, very friendly people. They've got a lot of literature, a lot of books. They're very enthusiastic. They're open on Monday through Saturday now. They've been opening Sundays, trying to take care of some of this additional traffic. But we're working on the website and creating these tours to where people can go in and actually log them. And actually, there's already a website set up that you can go in and create an event. And if, for example, there's 16 people on the bus, you can create an event for 16 people, and once those ticket sales are sold, it will tell you that they're sold, but you can pay for it by credit card. And again, the spirit of cooperation and working together, the intent is to take all the funds that we generate from the tour and invest those back to county tourism to let them build the statue that they've been wanting to build for years.
Right.
So there's a fundraising aspect of this. So again, what we're able to utilize is the resources that the city has, such as a tour director and a bus, and utilize the county's assets, which is the facility, the knowledge, the web base, and all the materials, combine them together so that we're not spending money in two different outlets. So, this is a great opportunity. Reed and met with Reed and Tony again last week to put it bluntly, is to showcase our community, Pikeville and Pike County, so that people come to our area, and that's what's happening, is they're in awe because it's not what they were expecting. It's not the backwoods.
I was telling you before we started taping that I was out Saturday, and I drove past the office there on Haley Boulevard, and there were probably 20 Harleys outside.
Yes.
And people were going in left and right to get their tour information. Then I saw the bus that you were talking about, and I could not believe the amount of people just at that time that were there.
Well, again, that's what the intent of tourism is, to put heads in beds and to bring people into the community and to showcase the community. To your point, we don't have a tour bus yet, so they were using a school bus. Mm-hmm. Reed, if you haven't, and again, anybody listening to this, if you really want to know the history of the area, I urge you to come on this trip, to book a tour. And what Reed has agreed to do is he's going to, whoever we hire, we've got a job posting actually in the paper right now, whomever we hire for this position, Reed's going to train them. They're going to be reading a lot of literature and educating themselves to a lot of the facts of the history. It's not just about Hatfield McCoy. There's a lot of other history here in our community that people would be surprised as you learn. But again, Reed has, as a historian, he has a tremendous lot of knowledge. There's also a lot of other people in our community that has knowledge. One of the other fun things that Reed actually met with our good friend Al from Pike TV on this week is there is the creation of a new documentary that Pike TV will be doing with Reed and other members of our community. I talked to Martha Reidner just past week, and we're trying to get her into the mix. And there's several other folks that has a lot of history. Martha is, as I said, she is the granddaughter of Perry Klein. So there's a lot of history here. Before it's lost, we want to catalog it, make sure it's available, and to educate our youth, and then open it up to the rest of the world. Because again, when people come in, they see that we're not the backwood people. They see our hospital and our medical schools and our educational process and our legal field and all the shopping and all the nice restaurants and things that we have to offer. So we're extremely delighted, excited. Again, when I say working together as a group, this thing is farther reaching than just Pikeville and Pike County tourism. We're working with the state right now on getting the new tourism signage up on US 23. The brown signs that you see that say Hatfield McCoy Tours, directing them to the county tourism office, which will give county tourism a better opportunity of people using 23 as a corridor to get them to other parts of the county. Because again, it's not about me. It's not just keeping them in Pikeville. We want them in other aspects of the region. That's what sometimes is lost, is that it's not about, again, me and who's getting credit. It's about we, and let's utilize the resources to get people in. We're working. I met with Representative Combs yesterday, Leslie, and she is the chairwoman of the tourism committee for the House. So talking to her about some initiatives that we can work with. So it's from everywhere, from again working with the county, the city, the tourism, both tourism, because the city has a tourism obviously office too, and we've got great community leadership that serves on that at no cost. They do it for the love of their community. So there's a lot of wonderful people whose minds are going together. I spoke with the chamber yesterday, some group of the chamber, and they're willing to jump in and help because they see this as an opportunity for business. There's a lot of great ideas, a lot of great people. There's a lot of things in motion. If you haven't been to some of the sites, you'll see a lot of changes. We've done everything from putting fences up to putting new signs up with directional signage at the various grave sites. We just ordered yesterday that'll be up Friday. There's if you've been to Cloy, the highway department just put blacktop down through Cloy. The road is really nice. We are painting a crosswalk. We just ordered two the city just ordered 2 signs, crosswalk signs that actually are solar powered that will have flashing lights on them to get people to slow down because we want people to be safe. But like I said, there's a lot of other history that's involved around Dill Cemetery, the battles during the Civil War era down on Main Street, the City Park in Garfield, and I could go on and on and on. Langley, or Kentucky's first Congresswoman.
So much.
I mean, I could go on and on and on. It's really exciting when you figure all this stuff out.
And I'll share with you one thing that I thought was really exciting, and we'll talk about Main Street Live in just a few minutes, that was this past Saturday night. And it was a sock hop theme, kind of 50s, 60s. Was packed. There were so many people downtown. I was happy to see that. But what I did notice that was so great was that as I was going back to my car, which I parked over by the park, there were people there, and I knew they were from out of town, because they had been looking at some various things, and you can, you just kind of tell they were from out of town. And they had the walking map that you have, and they were in front of the post office, and in front of the courthouse, and then there's Methodist Church, and they were pointing to different things as far as things that they could see, and then going toward the park. And I thought, that's really neat to see that they had been to a downtown restaurant to eat. I found out later, and then had come on over to the Main Street Live program. And I thought, that's a great thing that we have people that are staying in our hotels, utilizing and visiting the activities that we have, and are really taking an interest in it.
Well, Jill, absolutely. It's exciting. It's thrilling when you start seeing the pendulum change, swing the other way. Where again, before years and years, our people have had to leave the region to go out and to see these attractions, attractions and do things elsewhere. And now what we're seeing again is people coming to our community. I can't say enough. I just had a meeting before the taping of this with a gentleman, and we were discussing. He had been away for some time, and you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
But coming back to the area and seeing all the change, seeing the progression of the city and things that are happening in the county, to see the cooperation. Not only do we have the Hatfield McCoy walking or driving tour, we also have a downtown historical tour and mile markers that are put up. We work with Pike County Health Department to get that project going. So there's so many different agencies that you don't hear their name. They're not the ones upstanding taking credit or saying I did this, I did that. These are people that are behind the scenes that are making our community what it is today. And because of all that labor, now we're seeing that pendulum change come in, and we see people coming through our communities that are eating in our restaurants, buying our gas, shopping in our stores, creating that diversity that we're talking about and diversifying our economy. So, I mean, it is exciting. And then on top of that, the quality of life issue of seeing all these wonderful things like Muscle on Main and movie night in the park and the event you're getting ready to talk about on Main Street that I know that you attended. To see our community and then go down to eat at these new wonderful restaurants that are opening, whether it's the Blue Raven or Pig in a Poke or Bank 253 and I mean all these great. I mean there's many others that I'm leaving out, but those are some of the newer ones that have popped up that are staying busy. To see our new hotel under construction, knowing that now we've got 250 rooms. To see the Clerks Association come in last week for a conference. To see there's another conference that the Expo Center is working on right now, and then another one to follow that. So once we get the second hotel in, we've got 300 rooms, 250 rooms. We can market ourselves as a community. To see the university growing and bringing again from 800 students to 1,800 students into the community, and see all those shirts that say UPike or the Technical College all wandering around our community. It has all changed, and it's been through great leadership. It's been through a lot of hard work and a lot of vision from a lot of people that really care about this community. So not only am I excited about seeing all those feet on the streets down there from outside the area, but I'm also delighted that there's so many people that recognize the change and are excited about the change and want to see the change to continue.
Right, and take full advantage of that.
Amen.
If you want to get more information on Hatfield McCoy Trails and all that is Hatfield McCoy right now, tourpikecounty.com is a great place to go to. It has all the information there that you need. Some things that you may not have even thought to ask, you can get that information there, so do that. Also, there's the CD. We didn't talk about this the last time we
Yes, I forgot.
But Pike TV and UPike students are actually doing a CD.
It was just released. Matter of fact, what the viewers don't see is behind the cameras are several of those students taping us today. But there was an absolutely wonderful. Again, we talk about not losing our history. A great project that the city received a grant on, and that Pike TV produced, utilizing these students that did just an absolutely phenomenal job highlighting different aspects of the historical markers throughout the city. So if you haven't seen it, those are available. Matter of fact, I told my web person today to get on our website, so you can go to the city's website and find out how you can get a copy of this this wonderful CD. But if you want to look at the history again of things like the historical downtown area, the Poly Bridge, the train depot, there's 4 different components on there that they just did an absolutely wonderful job. The Academy building, interviewing, they interviewed myself, they interviewed Judge Rutherford, they've interviewed Homer. So I mean, just hearing some of these stories, but understanding some of the history and seeing some of this pictorial pictures of the events, really cool.
I look forward to seeing that.
It was very well done. They got a major applaud by the commission and those that were there as they came. The students came and presented to the city commission. They done a great job.
I'm sure. Now let's talk about. We mentioned briefly Main Street Live. That is just one of the first of many Main Street Live evenings throughout the summer. This was a 50-60 sock hop thing. They served hot dogs from what drive-in?
460.
460 drive-in.
Yeah, they had the chili recipe from 460.
But it was so nice because when we got there, we parked just a little over by the park actually and walked across, and you could hear the music, you could hear the people and the conversation. And then when I got up to walk in, they had one of the older classic cars sitting there, and it was packed. The whole plaza was packed, and I thought, how wonderful! Everybody having a great time. Beautiful evening.
Well, again, I'm going to boast on the commission and the vision of the Main Street Board and all these again. A lot of these are volunteers.
Brenda Cheney did a wonderful job. She's the one that greeted me right at the front.
She did. Eric Becker, who's with UPike, is now the chairman of the Main Street Board. I had a meeting actually with him yesterday. We talked about philosophies and where Main Street was heading. Minta and her vision, and when we sat back and we looked at putting the plaza on Main Street, again, the intent with tourism was, and the city was, to try to create an event every single weekend to bring people downtown, because during the weekdays you can't get parking.
Right.
When UPike's in session, we got a lot of student base, but where we fall off is during the weekends, and what we want to do is to try to create events. So if you were here last weekend during Muscle and Main, you saw several thousand people enjoying a wonderful event. We had several things going on, not just Muscle and Main, Relay for Life, Muscle and Main. There was a wedding in the park, the Hatfield McCord tours, just a tremendous amount of things going on. This past weekend was no different. Had several issues going on. Had again the Main Street Live event, which was phenomenal, because the intent of that event is to bring different types of music to the plaza every 2 weeks. The next event is June 29th. If you haven't seen, back to your point, if you haven't seen the pictures to see what you were missing, if you go on the Facebook and look up Dusty Lane, Layne, Dusty does a lot of the city's photography for us. He's got some absolutely wonderful shots to see what folks miss. But to your point, it was packed. The band was phenomenal. But that's not going to cease. It's going to continue. So that's, again, the next event's June 29th. This weekend coming, we've got the Jenny Finch tournament.
Yeah, that's no little thing, is it?
No, it's going to be.
That's amazing.
You're going to see a lot of young girls in town this weekend.
Yeah, and what a wonderful. We spoke to her just last week, or actually it was the beginning of this week, by the phone, and she was just delightful and was excited to be here, excited to teach young girls, and she's going to be here for 2 days this coming weekend. And she's a huge name in girls softball. Absolutely, huge name, and we're honored and blessed to have been able to attract this event here within our community. And again, we're putting heads in beds this weekend, as we did the previous weekend, and so forth, and creating again an opportunity for our youth to promote not only health and academic, athletics, but and academics. I mean, the commission. One of the things that I was talking about yesterday that I applaud the commission on is over the past several months, really about the last 6 months, almost every city commission meeting they have honored a different athletic or academic program from the independent school systems, obviously being in the city. So it is a tremendous of what these kids are accomplishing, and to have events like this to help home in on their skills is phenomenal. But to have events like this, normally it would have been in the Lexington and the Ashlands and the Louisvilles. Right. To have them in Pikeville, Kentucky, is even more of a blessing. So we also have Movie Night in the Park. Not to interrupt, but Movie Night in the Park is going to be another huge event, and that's a great venue for families.
Food City has sponsored this for us all last year and again this year. If you haven't brought your kid down to the park, then we urge you to do so. We usually have a great crowd, usually 200-300 people. Spread their blankets out on the lawn. We put up a big movie screen on the in the gazebo, and we use the sound system, which is phenomenal. If you haven't, I mean, it really roars. And it's outdoor fun. And we have the police department. We turn out the lights. We have the police department patrolling, popcorn and hot dogs, and just some good clean fun.
Good fun.
But keeping our kids involved and giving them things to do and giving them outlets. It's not just all about the economic development, Jill.
No, it is about the quality of life and what you can offer for our families.
Amen.
We have a lot of things going on just on the outskirts of Pikeville and Pike County, and one of it is in Pike County. Huge opening at the Breaks Interstate Park, Elkhorn City. Their big water park. They have camping sites, but also the Marvelettes. The Marvelous Wonderettes, that's what it is, Marvelous Wonderettes.
Yeah,
for Jenny Wiley Theater.
Jenny Wiley's doing a great job, obviously. The Artist Collaborative Theater has their next production coming up, and I always forget the name of it. The two guys that do all the parts. I apologize. I should know this, but I'm looking forward to. They just finished up with Grease and going back and seeing that production. Stephanie does an absolutely phenomenal job. The theater is great. We have so many assets, but the Breaks. One of the things that I mentioned, I'm an RV enthusiast, love camping, and they just went online this past year to where you can actually do your bookings at the RV park online. The city has our bookings. We use the same company, Reserve America, but that's extremely important because used to you had to show up and hope that there was a spot for you. Now you can actually go online and reserve your spots in advance. So with all the additional venues that the Breaks is offering is phenomenal.
It is. When their water park opened up, I know some people who actually utilized that last weekend for the grand opening and said it was wonderful. It was packed. The kids had a great time. So kudos to them for really stepping up their game just a little
Amen.
bit. Yeah.
I know we're getting close on time. One thing we'd like to mention, though, as to get not only all the events and all the attractions going on, Jill, there's been a lot of, again, development. We've got so many projects in the works, not only the retail development, which is moving forward, by the way, but as I just mentioned, the new Hilton Gardens just broke ground. We'd like to mention that Elm Street is closed. We've had several calls wanting to know when Elm Street's going to be open. Or is it going to be closed? Definitely, the answer is no. It's only closed during the construction for safety purposes. There was some lines had to be relocated, but the hotel's underway. I'm talking to at least 2 or 3 additional companies that looking at additional buildings outside the scope of just the retail development. So there is a tremendous amount of new business that still we're working on. If you've been up on Sycamore Street with the university, you'll notice that street's partially closed off. We just finished a project up there to where for those residents, if you're trying to get to Sycamore Street to where the cemetery is up on the hill, you now come through Old High Street, and we removed part of the mountain there. We put some new blacktop down, and there's a route that's now painted and arrowed off. It really looks great. So there's some changes on the road systems up there. So we ask. One of the things that I thought I would say today is that we ask for people's patience. Growth. Anytime you have growth, you're going to have some inconveniences at times. So just bear with us. Things will get back to normal. The benefit of that is that all those new, whether it's jobs or opportunities, businesses, it creates the funding that allows us to do the things like we're talking here today.
Right.
So there's as always, we never have enough time to talk about all the things that we've got on our list here to talk about, but there is a tremendous amount of planning and building and works going on, and above that is that we've got some great people out there, not just talking about in government, but in the private sector. I can't say enough wonderful things about the good work of the people out there that's continually moving our community forward.
Well, as you always say, we have the best people in the world that are working together. They get paid very little, that serve on communities or on committees, and they do it free of charge, all for the betterment and the quality of life of our city and our county. So kudos to them.
Well, candidly speaking, a lot of this we could not do without them. A lot of these organizations that do the planning, I don't have the staff that is available, so a lot of these come out that are volunteers. We are working more and more in conjunction with bringing more groups together. Instead of having an event over here and an event over there and trying to bring 2 or 3 groups together and having one big event drawing a large crowd at one location, that way whether it's the Kiwanis or Rotary or ASPCA or the City of Pikeville or tourism. If you have one event, you can put them under one tent. You get all that traffic that visits everybody.
Right.
So it's an opportunity to create an opportunity, or more opportunity, but also again working together as a group, and that's what I think is great to end on is that it's all these people that put all this free labor and hard work for love of the community, and they don't want to. They're not standing up saying, here I am. I'm the one that's doing this. They're out there, the silent partner, making things happen, and we appreciate them for what they do.
We certainly do. Give the city's website one more time.
The City of Pikeville is www.cityofpikeville.com. So if there's any, again, all the community calendar and all the events and things are on that site. And then if you're more specifically interested in tourism, it's www.visitpikeville.com. And then, of course, you mentioned the county tourism website. Right. Again, was www.tourpikecounty.com. And they've done a lot of wonderful work over there, and we're just very proud and blessed to be part of and have such good friendship across the way to help us.
So get out and enjoy what we have to offer. Donovan, thank you so much.
Jill, it's my pleasure as always.
Until next time, we'll see you then.
Thank you.